Go.
Hi, my name is Samantha Fidelio, and I'm going to be telling you why vaginal childbirth is more beneficial for the mother. And this is my audience. They're now going to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Ingrid.
This is Terrell. Oh, don't cry.
Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Brigitte.
That's Haley.
I'm Shade.
If you're a woman or a man who has a woman who's considering a planned C-section, you might want to reconsider. I've researched vaginal childbirth and have the SCAR to prove that it's more beneficial for the mother. My C-section was unplanned, and I can't fathom why anybody would want to have a planned C-section and cause all this extra drama. Undergoing major surgery is not worth the risks occurring during and after birth. There's 3 reasons why vaginal childbirth can be more beneficial for the mother than a C-section. First, there's no lifelong scar. Second, there's lesser possibilities of infection. And third, there's easier and faster healing time. Now I'll head towards the appearance of scars. A scar may not seem like a big thing, but think again. The first reason for vaginal childbirth is there is no lifelong scar. If you have a history of keloid scars, that's basically a scar that doesn't know when to stop. That's quoted by Rockoff. It'll be a raised and rough textured scar. And you can end up with a scar shelf, just like me, and it's not cute. The skin will slightly hang over the C-section. And that's quoted from McGee. Diet and exercise can be beneficial, but my son's 4 months old and I still have the scar shelf. Now I'll be moving on to one of the worst possibilities a C-section can have, an infection. The second reason for vaginal childbirth is there's lesser possibilities of infection. After a child is born, all the mother usually wants to do is take care of her child. After a C-section, it may be difficult to even pick up her own child. Oozing secretions from the incision can indicate that one will need medical attention. If the area of the stitches are red and hot to the touch and painful, this could also be another sign as well that you need medical attention. I personally developed an infection in the incision after the surgery. They said there was no cause for the infection, but I was put on antibiotics for 2 weeks. I was frightened to breastfeed my son because I could have passed on the infection to him by contact or internally. Other ways an infection can occur is if the surgeon leaves a tool or a sponge inside of you during the operation. You'll need to have a CAT scan or an X-ray to discover this. And the only possible way to fix this ridiculous mistake is to open up your scar and remove it. This prolongs the healing time and it lessens the quality of time you have with your baby. This was my C-section scar the day after I had my son, and I'm still kind of swollen, as you can see. And this is my C-section scar now. As you can see, I told you about the scar shelf. It's still there, right above my scar. It's healed a lot better, though, than it was before. If one has a vaginal childbirth, you'll be healed almost instantly, but sometimes the effects can be emotional as well. The third reason for vaginal childbirth is that there's easier and faster healing time. Emotionally, healing can be prolonged. The mother may have resentment after the C-section. This is quoted from Murkoff, Eisenberg, and Hathaway in 2000. The mother may feel the baby stole the natural birthing experience from her. She may be jealous of other mothers that could deliver normally. And she might also feel that she'd failed herself or her husband since she could not deliver the child normally. Professional help may be necessary to overcome this problem. A C-section and then attempting a vaginal childbirth is called a VBAC. Vaginal birth after cesarean is the acronym. This could cause disastrous results, and this is quoted from Curtis and Schuler in 2000. A VBAC is possible for the internal surgical scar to reopen, and it could stretch and pull apart. Births after C-section, sometimes it's necessary to have a C-section afterwards also. You should consider how you might feel after or years later with following pregnancies. These choices could affect all of your children. A C-section is a major operation, and it could also damage organs like the bladder or the rectum. You'll be in the hospital longer with a C-section, and with a C-section, the child is less likely to take to breastfeeding, and that's quoted from Murkoff, Eisenberg, and Hathaway again in 2000. It's less healthy for the baby if you can't breastfeed, but it also aids the mother in losing weight, and that's cited from Kramer. After my son was born, a nurse told me I could not see my son, only if I could walk to the nursery on my own. And clearly I knew that wasn't going to happen, considering my stomach was just cut open a couple hours earlier. Well, anyway, by the time I got to see my son, I was so drugged I couldn't even stay awake to hold him. And also, a vaginal birth also eliminates most needs for pain medications. Clearly, this is a vital memory most people should want to be awake for. Why someone would want to be missing out on that is beyond me. On that note, I'll head to my conclusion. There's 3 reasons why vaginal childbirth is more beneficial than a C-section. I explained to you how a scar can be avoided. I secondly provided how an infection is highly possible in a C-section. And third, I explained why a vaginal birth has faster healing time than a C-section. Opting for a C-section, a planned C-section, may be easy at the time, but the after effects are far beyond compare. Well, thank you for listening to my speech, and hope you have a good life.